Can't no hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead inside.
Birdman is slipping right in front of the world's eyes, dozing off mid-performance while the cameras keep rolling. The same man who built one of hip-hop's biggest empires from the ground up is now watching it crumble piece by piece. The lawsuits, the shady business moves, the personal losses, it's all catching up. But the real tragedy ain't death. It's watching his legacy slowly fade away in public view. By 2025, the concern around Birdman hit a whole new level. This time, it wasn't about his money or his label drama. It was about him, his body, his mind. The man looked worn out, and people couldn't ignore it anymore.
Can't no hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead, inside. So this little funny shit that I chose music, I'm not tripping.
When the Hot Boys reunion tour kicked off in early 2025, Birdman, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG all sharing the same stage for the first time since the year 2000, the streets were hyped. It was supposed to be a victory lap for the culture, but instead of celebrating, fans were left speechless after a viral clip showed Birdman standing still, looking like he was nodding off mid-set. In the footage, the 56-year-old's head suddenly drops and he stays completely still for nearly 15 seconds while standing behind Turk. The crowd didn't know what to think, and even BG had to nudge him just to wake him up.
I was born in poverty. I was raised by junkies and in boys' home all my life, so I just thought maybe I'm just a chosen one.
That moment spread across the internet like wildfire, and fans couldn't stop talking. Some begged him to put the cup down, hinting at lean, that codeine and promethazine mix that's been tied to Southern hip-hop for decades. Others tried to play it off, saying maybe it's just age catching up, pointing out how other OGs like Irv Gotti and Fat Man Scoop been showing signs of wear too. But Turk kept it real simple when he spoke on it, saying, "I don't know what be going on, man." Turk brushed it off, saying, "I'd be in Turk's world doing what I'm doing. They gonna always turn something into something that ain't."
When I come out the boys' home, I went straight to the streets. Cause my pa, he got shot up and he went to jail for a murder. So right after that, the streets became my life. I chose that shit.
BG even laughed it off on Drink Champs, saying the crew thought the whole thing was funny. But that laughter didn't last long because just a few months later, boom, another clip dropped. This time from a Harlem event in October 2025, showing Birdman nodding off again on stage. And once more, the internet lost its mind. Birdman's team jumped in fast, blaming it all on the wild tour schedule and pure exhaustion. But fans weren't convinced. Rumors about lean, relapse, seizures, or deeper health issues started spinning all over social media. People were seriously worried about the big boss. The man who once looked untouchable now seemed like he was slipping right in front of everyone.
One of my brother, Ronald Williams, my everything. My brother dropped out of school in the 7th grade. Super intelligent. Know how to make money, get money, and keep money.
All this chaos came just as things got messy in his personal life too. Reports broke that singer Toni Braxton had secretly married Birdman back in August 2024, only to file for divorce 2 weeks later. The court later dismissed the filing in January 2025, so technically they were still married, but it sure didn't look like it. Both wiped their couple pics from social media, and Toni ditched her wedding ring. Fans knew something was off. By October 2025, Braxton finally started talking. And what she said shocked people. She spoke on what she called Cash Money's death rituals. She clarified they weren't real voodoo or dark practices, but symbolic ones that revealed how toxic the label's culture really was.
Can't no hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead, inside. So this little funny shit that I chose music, I'm not tripping.
She painted a wild picture, matching tattoos, dudes kissing in public to show loyalty, everyone calling Birdman daddy, and flashy displays of cars and cash all over the gram. According to her, these weren't just flexes. They were loyalty tests. If you refused to play along, you got pushed out, forgotten, or worse, completely erased. Braxton described it like a secret society, one where gifts weren't love, they were control. That's some heavy cult-like energy right there. And she didn't hold back, saying this whole twisted system was eating Birdman alive, and that his strange 2025 on-stage moments were just the world watching him crumble under the weight of it all.
I made $2.5 billion with Universal, and they made $800 million off of me. Ain't none of these ever saw a B.
You kept the lights on over there pretty much.
Ain't no seen no B in this shit like I had. I was 20.
Braxton and people close to her saw
Universal
Birdman's on-stage slips as way more than just exhaustion. Some believed they were signs of lean relapses. Braxton and people close to her saw Birdman's on-stage slips as way more than just exhaustion. Some believed they were signs of lean relapses or the dark energy of his own empire finally turning on him. The chaos he once controlled was now feeding on him, and it showed. For Braxton, being tied to cash money wasn't just stressful, it was making her own health spiral. Her lupus and heart surgery recovery got worse under that pressure, so she had to step away for her sanity and survival. But Birdman didn't stay quiet, not at all. Word spread that he clapped back, calling Braxton a gold digger who wanted half of his $160 million fortune and even accused her of pawning off her $5 million engagement ring. That drama lit up social media like fireworks. Fans split straight down the middle. Some backed Birdman, saying he was just protecting his empire, while others stood with Braxton, saying she was just trying to escape a toxic world that was breaking her down. Then came December 2025, and the rumor mill spun again, whispers claiming Birdman was creeping with Braxton's sister Tamar. That sent the internet into overdrive until both Birdman and Tamar shut it down fast. Tamar cleared the air, saying she was the one who actually introduced Birdman to Toni in the first place, and that she still saw him as family.
If you could take one thing back in your career that you did, you could just take it back, what would it be?
My situation with Wayne. That hurt me more than anything, because I love that. And I meant nothing but right. I thought I did right. I changed his life. I changed his mama's life. I changed everything about him.
That statement had people wondering if maybe, just maybe, that marriage wasn't totally over. Maybe it was just buried under the mess. Between the death rituals, the health scares, and a marriage on the rocks, it all painted the same picture. A man being eaten alive by the empire he built. When you push that kind of energy into the world, sometimes it circles back hard and it doesn't ask permission. But to really get how Birdman ended up here, this exhausted, controversial figure fighting his own legacy, you gotta rewind the clock. Back to where it all began. Back to the mud, where the dream was born.
I said, let's put this shit behind us. How much you want? That nigga said 50, all right? You had that shit in the morning. And we did that and that was over with. But
that's what's up.
He ain't even asked for 50. I gave him 50. On God, he ain't asked for 50.
Brian Christopher Brooks entered the world on February 15th, 1969 in New Orleans, Louisiana, right in the heart of the Magnolia Projects, a neighborhood defined by poverty, hustle, and raw survival. He grew up surrounded by 10 brothers and 12 sisters, a full house of struggle. His mother, Gladys Brooks, was the anchor holding everything together when life got tough. Birdman would later honor her as Miss Gladys, crediting her for giving him whatever stability he had, though even that was hanging by a thread. In later interviews, Birdman kept it real, admitting just how rough those early years were. Nothing came easy, and the streets were his first teacher.
Man, Fresh, I just wanted to have a clearing relationship with people that I started the business with.
Facts.
Everybody that I started with, I'm in good space with them. Fresh know what I did. Now know what I did. Wayne know what I did. If not, you think they'll be fucking me?
Yeah.
They fucking with me for a reason.
By just 14 years old, Birdman was already deep in the hustle, not chasing rap dreams yet, but stacking real street money. He swore he saw his first million before even turning 15, all from trapping, not tracks. But that fast life came with a price. At 16, Birdman and his stepbrother caught a heavy case, heroin possession and distribution. That move landed him behind bars for 18 long months, a hard lesson in what chasing fast money really costs. Fast forward to 1991, Birdman was only 22 when he teamed up with his brother Ronald Slim Williams to launch what would become one of hip-hop's biggest dynasties, Cash Money Records. It started as a pure grind, an independent hustle built on New Orleans bounce music and raw ambition. Slim dropped out of school in 7th grade, but Birdman always gave him props for being the brain when it came to handling the paper. Together, they built a dream team, the Hot Boys, a lineup that changed rap forever. Juvenile, BG, Turk, and a young Lil Wayne, who Birdman discovered when Wayne was only 9 years old. The kid had fire in his lyrics even back then, and Birdman knew he was special. By 1998, Cash Money had the streets on lock and landed a $30 million deal with Universal Records.
I don't get my feelings in it, but I ain't never took from them. I always bless niggas.
But why niggas keep saying that? You know, Stone don't say why niggas keep saying that shit, bro. Like everybody, producer, all these folks be like, man, niggas don't pay, bro.
Right, bro.
That was the moment the empire officially leveled up. Albums like Guerrilla Warfare and hits like Bling Bling had the whole game shouting their name. The label wasn't just hot, it was unstoppable. But even as the fame and money rolled in, tragedy still found Birdman. In 1996, his father, Johnny Williams, was killed in a car crash, another deep wound added to a life already full of loss and struggle. Birdman said many times that pain shaped him, hardened him, made him the cold businessman we'd later see. By his early 20s, Birdman had gone from the Magnolia Projects to signing a $30 million deal, a jump even he couldn't believe was real. And the success just kept stacking.
I always looked at Wayne as my son, and I always looked at it like, because I was in the streets, and I thought this might be the last time they ever see me.
Damn.
Because I was living like that.
Right.
So I was like, that's what that shit really started from.
Through the 2000s, Cash Money turned into a global force. Lil Wayne's Carter albums were taking over, and new signings like Drake and Nicki Minaj pushed the label into a new era of dominance. Birdman's net worth peaked around $160 million, but he claimed he made over $2.5 billion in total through his Universal partnership. From the mud to the millions, the man really built an empire that changed hip-hop forever. Reaching the top came with a heavy price. Early in his career, Birdman straight up admitted he didn't really know the business side like that, and that lack of game came back to haunt him hard. The same moves that built his empire also planted the seeds of chaos that would later blow up his legacy. The come-up was legendary, but behind the scenes, the downfall was already creeping in. Cash Money Records wasn't just known for making hits. It built a reputation as what many call the finesse machine.
And I'm ready to die about that and kill about it too. I out-accomplished every nigga that ever did the music business.
Yeah.
No nigga out-accomplished me. Not one nigga on planet Earth. I gave my life to the game, and I'm prepared. And I'm still prepared to die about this. But more important, I'm prepared to kill about this. Facts. On my mama, and she dead.
The label became infamous for allegedly shorting artists, delaying albums, and using pure pressure to keep people in check. The story was almost always the same. An artist would sign, get hot, stack hits, then suddenly start airing Birdman and Slim out for playing with their money. But no beef cut deeper than the one with Lil Wayne, the same artist Birdman discovered as a kid, the one he called his son.
I think NBA YoungBoy might be the biggest rapper. I say that 5 years ago.
What you mean big when you say big?
Ain't no gonna be bigger than NBA YoungBoy. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
He the biggest YouTube artist right now in the world, and he behind the wall.
Their bond was supposed to be unbreakable, but in 2015, everything changed when Wayne filed a massive $51 million lawsuit against Birdman. Wayne claimed he never got his proper advances or royalties, and that Birdman pocketed more than half of a $100 million deal with Universal. That was a wild betrayal for fans who grew up believing their relationship was solid. The lawsuit cracked open the truth behind the Cash Money family image.
Nah, I just was like, my daughter was kept like, Daddy, why he keep with you like that? She don't say fuck him, but why he keep? I ain't had no idea because I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to the radio, period.
You think they were just doing their job or just with you?
Nah, I think he went a little too far with me.
And what people saw wasn't pretty. Wayne accused Birdman of teaming up with Universal to freeze him out of profits, and the whole case dragged through the courts for years. By 2018, they finally reached a settlement, but the damage was already done. The world had seen the cracks in the empire. When Birdman was later asked about the whole mess, he admitted it was his biggest regret. Still, he claimed he eventually made things right, saying he personally pulled up to Wayne's crib and blessed him with even more than he originally asked for. Whether that's full truth or just Birdman cleaning up his image, nobody knows for sure. But one thing's clear, loyalty and money never mix smoothly inside Cash Money's kingdom. But Wayne wasn't the only one who felt like he got played, not even close. The smoke came from everywhere. Juvenile, BG, Manny Fresh, and a whole lineup of other Cash Money artists started speaking out, claiming Birdman hit them with unfair contracts, 80-20 splits, shady recoupment tricks, and missing royalty checks that mysteriously vanished into thin air. If anyone dared to step out of line, their album got shelved or they got straight up blackballed from the industry.
I just went there with one intention, just to say, brother, stop playing with me. You don't know me. And now watch how you do with other niggas. Give me the same respect.
Birdman later admitted he fumbled the business side early on, saying he learned the game as he went, and claimed he squared up with everyone eventually. But not everybody bought that. Even Manny Fresh, the mastermind producer behind that iconic Cash Money sound, ended up walking away over royalty and publishing drama. Birdman himself said he didn't even understand how publishing worked back then, but by that point, the damage was already done. The accusation started haunting his reputation heavy. Online, people were constantly comparing him to other controversial moguls like Diddy and Suge Knight, saying Birdman had the same pattern of control and cold business tactics. Some even labeled him one of the grimiest bosses in the rap game. Every time someone called him out for not paying up, Birdman would clap back hard, defending his name and legacy. But the controversy didn't stop at money. It went deeper into some seriously uncomfortable territory. One of the most talked about moments came from that infamous early 2000s photo showing Birdman kissing a young Lil Wayne on the lips. Birdman brushed it off, saying it was father-son energy, just love and loyalty between two people who came up from nothing. Still, that image stirred up major side eyes. And things got even more disturbing when old interviews resurfaced where Wayne claimed Birdman set him up to lose his virginity to a grown woman when he was only 11 years old. That revelation sparked outrage online, with critics calling it predatory behavior and a total abuse of power. It cast a long, dark shadow over everything: the brotherhood, the business, and the so-called family image Cash Money tried to hold on to.
Kind of money just being alive.
At that point, it was clear the finesse went way beyond the music. Back in 2010, Birdman and Slim tried to expand their empire beyond music by launching Broad Oil and Gas LLC. But when people started digging, nobody could find proof the company ever actually did anything. Birdman even got a pump jack tattoo to sell the image, but the streets called it what it looked like, a flashy front with no real movement behind it. Still, Birdman stood on business, insisting that his wins outweighed any drama and that no one in the game had put more people on than he had. In his eyes, he's the GOAT of blessings, no question about it. But while the money issues kept making headlines, the whispers about blood in the streets started turning his legacy even darker. Allegations of violence, betrayal, and payback began circling around Birdman's inner circle, stuff that had nothing to do with beats or contracts. And when you're moving like a boss, that street energy doesn't just disappear. Sometimes it follows you all the way into the boardroom.
NBA YoungBoy, bro, that shit ain't normal. Nah, he not normal. He's special. Big money right there, brother. I think he's a $1 billion nigga. I tell him that. I talk to him every day. He call me every day. Bro, he's a $1 billion nigga in flesh.
Back in the late 90s, when Cash Money was rising fast, things around the label got violent. In 1997, artist Yellow Boy was killed after a heated dispute, and just a year later, Kilo G was also taken out. Word around New Orleans connected those deaths to Birdman's alleged get-back moves, though the truth was never proven and no charges ever stuck. Still, the rumors built up piece by piece, making Birdman look like more than just a businessman. They painted him like someone you didn't want to cross. Then came the wildest twist of all. April 2015, Lil Wayne's tour bus got shot up in Atlanta after a show, and that changed everything. Bullets tore through the bus, but somehow nobody was hit. The whole situation exploded when court documents from Cobb County, Georgia named James Pee Wee Roscoe Carlton, one of Young Thug's known associates, as the trigger man. He was hit with 30 counts, including aggravated assault. Investigators later revealed phone records showing calls between Birdman, Young Thug, and Pee Wee Roscoe around the time of the shooting. And that's when the conspiracy rumors went nuclear. Prosecutors even suggested the hit was retaliation for Wayne's $51 million lawsuit against Birdman and Cash Money.
I'm doing none of that. I'm done with it. I still get more money than rappers. No disrespect. You know, I make rappers.
Yeah.
We get money together.
They claim Birdman and Thug might have plotted to send a message, but Birdman was never charged. His name was in the paperwork, but he denied everything. And just like that, another dark cloud settled over one of hip-hop's biggest moguls, the kind of stain that no amount of success could easily wash off. Birdman called the whole thing cap. He denied every rumor tied to the Lil Wayne bus shooting, but that didn't stop the streets from talking. The trigger man, Jimmy Winfrey, also known as Pee Wee Roscoe, ended up catching a 10-year sentence, but the smoke didn't stop there. The drama stretched way beyond Wayne. When Birdman signed Young Thug to Rich Gang, it allegedly sparked beef with Rich homie Quan, setting off a chain of wild Atlanta street tensions that turned deadly. According to multiple street reports, that feud spiraled out of control. Quan's pops got shot, and rival label boss Big Nut was murdered.
I make $20, $30, $40 million a year just off of my old music without putting out no music.
Off of your masters?
Yeah.
You think because you're a sophomore?
I'm a gangster.
Or a street nigga?
You say
I'm
what?
a gangster and I'm a soft.
That one hit alone reportedly sparked a bloody war that left more than 50 bodies in the streets between 2014 and 2016. Atlanta was on fire, and somehow Cash Money's name kept floating in the mix. Then in 2017, tragedy hit closer to home. Birdman's artist BTY Youngin was murdered in what looked like a suspicious setup. Right after the news broke, Birdman wiped his entire Instagram clean, deleting everything except a short memorial post for the fallen rapper. Fans instantly started asking questions. Why erase everything? What was he hiding? Some said it was guilt, others thought it was grief, but the silence only made the speculation grow louder. Still, out of all the betrayals and bloodshed surrounding Birdman's empire, the most painful story might be the one that involved his own family. His brother, Terrence Gangsta Williams. Not Slim, but the other brother who had been with Birdman since the early grind. Terrence was allegedly involved in serious street business back in the day, reportedly at Birdman's direction, and was tied to over 20 bodies, earning him a life sentence in 2001. For over 2 decades, Terrence sat behind bars, his name forever linked to Cash Money's dark beginnings. But then, in 2024, everything flipped. Terrence got released early after cooperating with the feds.
I ain't about to stop. All right, y'all capping, y'all playing, y'all don't get it, y'all won't play. You can't, I don't think none of these can out hustle me. Not a on planet Earth in music.
That's how you're supposed to feel.
And I said this, I'm not just feeling like that, this facts.
The streets were shocked. Instead of welcoming him home, Birdman cut him off completely, saying his brother had broken the street code. Critics called that move cold-blooded. They said Terrence had spent over 20 years locked down, taking hits connected to his brother's world only to be ghosted the second he flipped to save his life. People couldn't believe it. That's your blood, and you leave him hanging? The streets had plenty to say, but Birdman stood firm. In interviews, he's made it crystal clear. When it comes to loyalty and protecting his empire, he moves by one rule only: business first, emotions last. And that mindset, for better or worse, is what's kept Birdman's name alive in every chapter. From the mud to the money, and now deep in the madness. That energy exploded in 2016 when Birdman stormed into the Breakfast Club studio and pressed Charlemagne the God face to face for all the slick talk. That's when he dropped the now legendary line, "Put some respect on my name," and instantly stamped one of the most iconic moments in hip-hop interview history. The clip went viral everywhere, reminding the world that Birdman was not the type to let disrespect slide. That wasn't just talk. It was a warning shot in real time.
Can't no hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead inside. So this little funny shit that I chose music, I'm not tripping. No, nobody won't see nobody die anyway. So I ain't tripping, brother. But besides that, I ain't trying to do that shit, brother. I'm not trying to do it. I'm already damaged. I was born damaged.
Later, Birdman reflected on that heated morning, saying it wasn't about ego. It was about demanding respect for what he built. And after everything he's been through, the bodies, betrayals, lawsuits, and loyalty tests, It's no wonder the man moves the way he does. Every scar tells part of the story. The rumors, the violence, the snake moves within his own circle. They all built the image of a man who didn't just rise through business savvy, but through ruthless survival tactics. The streets have never stopped whispering about Birdman. His name's been tied to money, music, and mayhem for decades. But through all that chaos, one thing's clear: Birdman never folded. No matter how many headlines tried to drag him down, he stayed focused. Mentoring new talent, stacking paper off that timeless Cash Money catalog, and proving that the bag never sleeps. Right now, Birdman's energy is fully locked in on the next generation, especially NBA YoungBoy. He's been chaperoning him on tour, guiding him through the industry maze, and trying to keep him grounded while chasing the biggest bag possible. Birdman says he's determined to make sure YoungBoy doesn't repeat the mistakes of the past, that he gets his bread right and keeps his focus on legacy, not distractions. According to Birdman, YoungBoy's future is massive. He predicts the young star could land a $300 million deal and become one of the biggest artists in the history of hip-hop. That's a bold claim, but Birdman stands on it. He says he sees in YoungBoy what he once saw in Lil Wayne and Young Thug, that rare, once-in-a-generation spark that can change the game.
And I was just talking to Fresh today. Me and Fresh was on the phone, right? And I was telling Fresh, bro, I swear to God, I ain't know nothing about this publishing. I didn't know. And Fresh used to be like, cause Fresh was on before me.
Right.
And he was like, Stunner, bro, we got publishing money, bro. We supposed to be getting royalties.
And deep down, that's what keeps Birdman going. Seeing himself reflected in the new generation. The same hunger, the same ambition, and the same fire that took him from the Magnolia Projects to music royalty. These days, Birdman's been hinting at stepping back from the spotlight. After decades of running the rap game, he's talking about chilling once he wraps up a few last projects, especially that long-awaited Like Father, Like Son 2 album with Lil Wayne. He's officially done rapping himself, but don't get it twisted. He loves to remind people that he's still eating better than most rappers alive. The money might move differently now, but it's definitely still moving. In rare interviews, Birdman's gotten more reflective. He's admitted that one of his biggest regrets was never getting a proper education, wishing he could have gone to college instead of jumping headfirst into the streets. He's opened up about how emotionally draining the public beef with Wayne really was, saying it stripped away years he can't get back and chances for real growth he didn't take. You can hear the weight in his voice when he talks about it. The price of power isn't just money, it's time and peace. When it comes to his finances, the internet stays debating. Reports now estimate Birdman's current net worth sits somewhere between $100 and $200 million, a dip from his peak days of around $150 to $200 million. The hits came from lawsuits, foreclosures, and a few ugly L's tied to bad business deals. One of the biggest was in 2017 when he got hit with a $12 million foreclosure lawsuit on his Miami Beach mansion and eventually lost it. But just when people started saying the decline was real, Birdman spun the story right back in his favor. By 2025, the receipts dropped. Birdman had copped a $42 million Miami mega mansion sitting on a private peninsula. The message was loud and clear. The fall-off narrative was capped. His catalog still brings in between $20 to $40 million a year in passive income. Proof that the Cash Money legacy still prints cash like clockwork. Even with everything he's survived, the betrayals, scandals, and health scares, Birdman stays defiant. He swears the industry never gave him the flowers he truly earned, saying it's all because of where he came from. In his mind, nobody in the business has done more for hip-hop than he has. Not Diddy, not Jay, not anyone. And maybe that's what makes Birdman's story so powerful. His downfall isn't one massive collapse, it's a slow erosion built over decades of chaos. The lawsuits, the blood rumors, the family betrayals, the public humiliation, all layered on top of a career that changed rap forever. He built one of the greatest empires the culture's ever seen, launching icons like Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Young Thug. But the same moves that made him a mogul also left scars that never healed. Broken friendships, faded loyalty, and a legend forever haunted by how much it cost to reach the top. In the end, Birdman's story feels like a courtroom saga and a street legend rolled into one. A man who crawled out the mud, flipped it into billions, and now faces the final chapter of his run surrounded by chaos. His body looks like it's starting to give out right there on stage. His short-lived marriage went up in flames within weeks, and his own brother, Bloodline, is still cut off from his world. His former artists, many have gone public, accusing him of finessing them for years. And yet, Birdman keeps it pushing. Every morning he wakes up with one thing on his mind: the money. No matter the scandals, he stays mentoring the next wave of stars, preaching that he's blessed more lives than anyone else in hip-hop. He refuses to see himself as fallen, only evolving. But maybe that's the most heartbreaking part. A man who's got everything: the cars, the houses, the respect, and a catalog worth hundreds of millions, but deep down admits he feels empty. Birdman once said he feels like he's already dead inside. Think about that. A man who built an empire brick by brick, who outlasted rivals, who turned pain into power, and still can't fill the hole left behind by everything he lost along the way. Because the tragic fate of Birdman ain't death. It's living long enough to see your own empire haunted by the ghosts of how you built it. The success, the money, the fame, all sitting heavy next to the wreckage of loyalty, family, and love. That's the real L. If you rocked with this deep dive, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts below. Is Birdman's story redemption or downfall? And make sure you share this video with someone who loves hip-hop history. More crazy stories are coming soon, so stay locked in and keep that bell on.